These days, there are so many camp gadgets and tools you can take when you go into the woods, it's crazy. But how do you know which to use, which is bushcraft, and which will really save you time and help you make the most of your trip? Stay tuned while I test out different camp gadgets and activities. We're covering cutting, firelighting, cooking, lighting, and entertainment. We test 3 different tools in each: a pure bushcraft tool, a bridge tool, and a modern tool, and we're scoring them based on speed, skill, bushcraftiness, and weight. Let's get into it. Humans have been struggling to make fire by friction for 50,000 years, and yet somehow when I go camping, I can take something like this. To answer the question, but is it bushcraft, I'm going to make a bushcraft bed to improve my camp. And let's get started with 3 ways to cut wood. I found one of the many logs that I'm going to need to do that, and I'm going to attempt cutting it with, first of all, the standard Bahco folding saw that almost everyone has. Then I'm going to try the Agawa Canyon folding saw. This is a classic folding saw, chews through wood, but it is much, much bigger and much faster to cut. But is it bushcraft? And then lastly, I've got this ridiculous handheld chainsaw, which is battery powered. Let's get this log cut up. So this is just one of the slats that I'm going to need to make this bed, and I'm going to need to make, I reckon, 25 individual logs. Each one of those requires 2 cuts. That's 50 cuts. You can see on the screen at the moment how long this took to cut with the very small Bahco folding saw. Let's have another go, this time with the Agawa Canyon saw. So you can probably hear from my voice, I'm pretty worn out from just making those 2 very simple cuts. Now this is the Agawa Canyon saw, and it was much, much faster than this tiny little Bahco folding saw. I mean, you can see the size of the teeth between these 2. So obviously this is going to chew through wood much quicker. But now let's try, and I know it's definitely not bushcraft, that little mini handheld chainsaw, and see how that does. Wow, that was like a few seconds and it went straight through it. That's nuts. That was much, much quicker than I was expecting. I tried this earlier on a couple of small sticks, and this is a much bigger, meatier piece of wood. Makes me wonder what size wood you can get through this. That is absolutely crazy days that has cut through that so quickly. It's definitely not bushcraft, but might be a game changer. Right, let's make the last cut through this piece, and I've got to decide what I'm going to use with it, and I think we can all guess the answer. Can I also just say, and this is not cool, you've just seen me make multiple cuts with essentially an electric chainsaw without any eye protection and without wearing any gloves. That's a bit stupid, so I'm going to go and find those right now. I'm also going to collect a lot more materials and do the cutting. Don't worry, you don't have to watch it all. So I'm going to bring all of the materials that I've got into my bushcraft camp area, and you can watch me assemble the bed. I'm in. The bed does need a little bit of fettling to get it all to be exactly as I want it, and I still need to make those pins to hold everything steady. However, I must say, I am highly suspicious now of every other YouTube video I've seen where somebody has made a bed like this and you see them doing some cuts by hand, because to have produced all of these materials and made all of these cuts by hand, it would have taken me a very long time. So I'm going to get this bed fully squared away and get those pins made, and then I can get my shelter set up for the night. So how do these score? Firstly, we have the Bahco saw. I'm scoring this a 1 for speed. It was slow, the teeth are small, and the blade is small. This is for sticks only, but it is a very bushcrafty tool, so it gets a 4, and it's lightweight, so it's a 4 for that and a 3 for skill. Because of the size, it does require some practice. For the Agawa Canyon saw, that was much faster, nearly twice the speed of the Bahco saw, so a 3 for speed, 3 for craftiness. It is still pretty bushcrafty. It is heavy, but you could still take this on a bushcraft or even a wilderness trip, and it's a 4 for skill. It is easier to use than the Bahco. For the Seesii handheld chainsaw, that's a 5 on speed. It's insanely quick and 0 effort, but it's a 1 for bushcraftiness and a 1 for weight and a generous 3 for skill. It's easy to use, but unlike me, you need to remember to wear proper gloves and goggles when you're using it. Right, next. So next up, we're going to get the fire list. So I have been and done some wood, which I did off camera, and you can guess what method I used to cut the wood in the comments below if you'd like. So there are 3 methods in bushcraft that are kind of acceptable to light a fire. The first one is, of course, the bow drill. The second one is a fire steel, and the third one is the plain old lighter. So on this particular occasion, I think I'm going to go with the fire steel. On a previous video, I was a bit harsh on the fire steel because I don't really consider it a survival tool, but it is a fun bushcraft activity, so I'll be using that. But I am going to have a quick blast on the bow drill setup, see if I can get some smoke, although I probably doubt it, because it's been a while since I've successfully been able to do it. So as you can probably see, the bow drill is an infuriating mistress. If you've got any tips, please do let me know in the comments. So next up, we're going to try the fire steel, and I know I'm going to get it lit. So for firelighting, arguably the most bushcrafty activity you can do is fire by friction. So the bow drill gets a 5 for bushcraftiness. This is a skill that requires a lot of practice and preparation, and it takes time. So for speed, we have a 1, and for skill, we have a 5. You're going to need a lot of skill for this. Then for the bridge activity, we've got the fire steel. This is a 3 for speed. It's quick, but it can take some preparation if you're using natural materials to get going. It is a 4 for bushcraftiness. It's still a very bushcrafty way to get a fire going. It's also a 4 for weight. It weighs almost nothing, and a 3 for skill. This is definitely my favourite way to start a fire. Lastly, we have the humble lighter. A lighter is part of my EDC. I've always got one with me. So it gets a 5 for speed, a 2 for bushcraftiness, a 5 for weight, and a 2 for skill. If I can, I'll always use a fire steel to get my fire going. If I'm in a rush though, it'll be a lighter. Next up, we've got cooking. And I've got 3 different ways of doing it. I've got a plain old grill. Now we could do it without the grill and cook directly on the embers, but on this occasion I think it's a nice steak. I've spent a bit of money on it, so I'm going to treat myself to a grill. And then we've got cast iron. Cast iron's fantastic. It's unbelievably heavy. It cooks very, very well, but I'm not sure it's entirely suitable for a steak. And in fact, this needs to be re-seasoned because the seasoning I've just had to clean off of it. And then even less bushcraft is the good old-fashioned non-stick frying pan. Now these things, I mean, I've used this on flame, as you can see from the base of it, but I really don't consider these to be bushcraft, but they do offer some incredible advantages over the cast iron pan. This thing is really heavy. I reckon this is 3 kilograms easily, and this thing is maybe 600 grams. The difference is immense, and if you're taking something like this on a trip, you're probably not going to take the cast iron unless you're seriously into traditional living. But you can get an awful lot of distance just on the plain old grill, and in fact this grill and I have been on quite a lot of adventures, and it's been to some very far-flung places, and it has seen quite a lot of action, and tonight it's going to cook me up a delicious steak. Now, a quick bit of honesty before I get too carried away with this handheld chainsaw. It was sent for me free to try out. So that's why it's here. I put links to it in the description and I think there's a voucher code as well that you can get from it. That said, this thing is absolutely incredible. It comes with 2 batteries, 80 minutes of runtime, 900 watt motor. It goes through these logs in absolute seconds. It has completely changed how I think about these sort of woodland camps where I've got a car maybe 100 meters away. This thing is so much easier to do all of your wood, to do all of your bushcraft activities. It's definitely not bushcraft, but it has changed for me the accessibility of projects like this. Now, of course, this isn't bushcraft, is it? This isn't really what it's all about, but making some structures requires processing very large amounts of bits of wood, and something like this is really useful for that. So I'm very grateful for this. I haven't been paid, I've just got it for free. Very grateful for it, and I'll definitely be using it again. For cooking, first we tried the grill. I'll give that a 3 for speed and for skill, and a strong 4 for bushcraftiness and weight. These things weigh next to nothing. For the cast iron, well, that's a 3 for speed, but it's a 5 for bushcraftiness and a 4 for skill. But for weight, well, that's got to be a 1. For the non-stick, it's a 4 for speed and a 5 for weight, but for bushcraftiness, it gets a 1, and for skill, it's a 2. Next up, we have lighting. So now let's talk about lighting, and I don't mean that great big bright orange light you can see that's shining and keeping my face going for filming. I'm talking about the lighting that you might use in camp in a real environment. Is it bushcraft or isn't it bushcraft? One of my favourite memories a few years ago when I was doing a bushcraft course, I was just lying, going to sleep, looking at the fire. That was the only source of light that I had, and it was fantastic. And that has to be the most primal bushcraft light source that you can have, which is a plain old fire. And isn't it just amazing to be able to watch that and go to sleep? But there are other levels as well. So my second level for lighting is definitely the humble candle. The humble candle is a fantastic little lighting source. You're not going to read by it, but as a form of ambient light, it's an absolute delight to have knocking around camp. And I'm going to get that lit, plonk that just over here to give me a little bit of a sense of nice orange, earthy light. But my third thing, is it bushcraft or not? Well, it's sitting on my head. It's the head torch. Is that bushcraft? They're so essential, aren't they? They just feel so natural. You can attach it to your head, and wherever you look, you've got a nice source of light. But is this thing bushcraft? I mean, it isn't, is it? It's a nasty, horrible white light. So would you take it on your bushcraft trip? I mean, I do. And I'm very happy to use this as a bushcraft form of lighting, but is it really? It isn't, is it? That's my third. What do you think? Is a head torch acceptable when you're out doing bushcraft? So for lighting, first we talked about fire. That gets a 2 for speed and a maximum score of 5 for bushcraftiness. It gets a 4 for weight and skill. For the candle, it gets a 4 for speed, bushcraftiness and weight, and a 1 for skill. Lastly, we've got that head torch. That's a 5 for speed, but it's a 1 for bushcraftiness and skill, and a 4 for weight. I love my head torch, but it's not really bushcraft, is it? So last but not least, the fifth thing in my bushcraft or not series is entertainment. What are you going to do of an evening when all the jobs are done? And isn't that the best bit? And I've got 3 different things. First of all, we have pure bushcraft, and that is Bushcraft TV, which we've got right here in front of us. But what else can we do to keep ourselves entertained? Well, the next most common thing, something I enjoy an awful lot, is doing a little bit of reading. And
what better place to do it surrounded by these beautiful huge trees than to chill out and do a little bit of reading, hopefully some comedy or some sci-fi or some fantasy, whatever it is you enjoy the most. But what about a real modern way to entertain yourself whilst you're out in the woods? What might that look like? Well, of course, we've all got our phones with us, but that's just too easy, isn't it? What else could we do that is really ridiculous and most definitely not bushcraft? Well, have a look here. What would you say if I told you that in my pocket right now, I had a projector? Isn't that absolutely nuts? Let's take it out and let's have a look. So this little thing is called the Zip projector, and look at it. It folds itself up and folds itself flat, so it fits almost anywhere and it doesn't even need its own stand. Let's get it turned on and let's have a look. I mean, this is definitely not bushcraft, but this is definitely another level of entertainment. All I have to do on my Android phone is pair it up with Smart View, wait for the Zip device to connect to it, and then it's going to mirror my screen on that tarp that I've put up. So now I can go into my YouTube, I can look at my channel, I can pick something that I fancy watching, and I can watch it. And that's absolutely nuts. This is completely watchable, nice and bright. But is it bushcraft? I definitely don't think this one's bushcraft.
So this little device is from Auzen. It's called the Zip and it's designed for portable situations like camping and the outdoors. It's a tri-fold projector. It folds down smaller than my hand and fits in a pocket. And there's no tripod needed. Just turn it on, mirror your phone in the main menu and you're up and running in no time. There's no Wi-Fi required or dodgy software to install. Once you're mirrored, you can even turn the phone off. If you want to keep the kids entertained at camp, just string up a tarp like I did here, or you can use the side of a tent. If you're at home, you can project it straight on the side of a fence or even a shed. It runs off its own 5000 milliamp battery for over an hour, so there's no faff with cables. But if you do need more playtime, just plug in an external battery pack. The device autofocuses itself and handles the keystone correction so the picture is always straight. It's got a built-in speaker, which in my testing was plenty loud enough, but you can connect it to Bluetooth speakers for more oomph. The screen is 100 lumens, which I found to be totally bright enough, and the image is perfectly watchable. There's a link in the description and a discount code on screen. And finally, for entertainment, we looked at Bushcraft TV. That gets a 2 for speed, but a 5 for craftiness and weight, and a 4 for skill. The book, well, that's a 5 for speed, 4 for craftiness, but a 2 for weight and a 3 for skill. You really need a head torch for this too, which is pretty non-bushcrafting. Finally, we had that projector. I can't believe that thing is so small. It's a 5 for speed and a 1 for bushcraftiness and a 4 for weight and for skill.
So that's it for my Is It Bushcraft video. What did we look at today? We looked at cutting, we looked at firelighting, we looked at cooking, we looked at lighting, and we looked at entertainment. And I think in all of those, the really original, the bridge, and the advanced systems have their own place. Just that cast iron frying pan is very heavy. The grill that goes over the fire is perfect for some cooking, but not for others. But the non-stick pan, I don't know, I couldn't be using that in a bushcraft context. And yet, when you move forwards to lighting, trying to operate without a head torch, I'm going full technology on that one. That's definitely something that I want because it's just so convenient. And cutting, oh my goodness me, that's changed bushcraft forever for me. Having that fantastic little handheld chainsaw, that is just a game changer. I'm definitely going to start doing an awful lot more builds. Now I can get through the wood processing so much quicker than before. For the entertainment, I mean, that's just a bit of fun. What would I really be doing? I'd be looking at the fire and reading my book and maybe listening to a podcast. I'm probably not going to set up a full tarp to watch a movie on. But when I'm camping with kids, well, now that's a different story altogether. Definitely that little Auzen Zip is going to be something I'm going to bring along and make sure that I use. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to get to bed and go to sleep now, and I'll see you on the next one. Matt, out.